and welcome back to my channel. Hi guys! In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 things that you can do at home right now. So I know that we are all home right now, social distancing. I wanted to share with you a few things that I have been doing that have been making me happy and feel good. So let's get started. The first thing you can do is clean and organize. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like your mother and say clean your room, but I promise you that cleaning your house and cleaning your space will make you feel really good. So I know that all of us are spending so much time at home right now. So making sure that you take care of the space that you're gonna be spending all of this time in is super important. So I've been spending a lot of time organizing my closet. I've also completely cleared out my desk area. If you work from home, I highly recommend doing that so you feel clear and good while you are working from home. I've also been like disinfecting every single surface and every single doorknob and anything that could possibly have anything on it. I'm just like, clean it! The next thing you could do is a hair or makeup tutorial. So obviously, not to plug myself on here, but there are so many tutorials on YouTube, including mine. So I've been finding myself watching a lot of makeup tutorials, A, because they feel really like therapeutic to me, and doing my own makeup is actually like meditative, and I feel like I'm only focusing on that, so it feels kind of good and it's a time just for me, but it's also a really great time to learn. So there's tons of stuff on YouTube. It's endless. And if you can't find one, then you can watch one on my channel. And if you do, and you do the makeup, then make sure you tag me so I can see it, okay? My next tip would be to do some yoga or meditation. So if you are a total beginner to yoga and meditation, that's okay. There's so many videos on YouTube, there's so many podcasts that you can follow, and I can link some of my favorite things below. I even taught a very beginner version of a very small yoga flow for the Tone It Up girls on their channel, so I'll link that below. But I think it's really important right now to make sure that we are breathing and taking care of our mental health and our spiritual health. If that's even a thing, I'm making it a thing. Also, my favorite studio in New York, Y7, which is where I got my yoga teacher training, is also doing live classes on Instagram. So I can definitely share all of those things with you below, so you can make sure to do that. My next tip is I have two things that you can do. So I know that a lot of us are spending a lot of time with our significant others or our families or whoever we are in quarantine with, and it's not easy. I feel like for myself and between Kyle and I, we can't help but constantly talk about coronavirus. And of course, I'm trying to find this balance between staying educated and informed, but not letting coronavirus take over my entire life and brain. So I have one book here actually on my bookshelf. It's called The Questions Book. And it's a book full of really interesting questions that you wouldn't just think of off the top of your head that you can ask the people that you're with or your significant other or your parents, whatever it may be. It's a really great way to just open up the space for new and interesting conversations that may have not happened otherwise. But for couples, all the couples out there, if you're in quarantine with your significant other, same. There's an app called Gottmans Card Deck, and it's an app for couples, and there's a ton of questions on there. It's basically a virtual card deck, and there's all these questions in there, and some of them are about sex and stuff like that, but a lot of them are just open-ended questions that, again, just spark conversation. So I'll link both of those things below. But make sure you're having interesting and engaging conversations with the people that you're with. The next thing you can do is tune into a podcast. So I actually just got on the podcast train. I felt like for a long time I consumed most of my content on Instagram and YouTube, but now I'm totally hooked. So my favorite podcasts are The Skinny Confidential, Jenna Kutcher's podcast, Gold Digger. I love Tim Ferriss's podcast, and I also love Nick Viall's podcast, Viall Files. The reason why I suggest this is it's really nice to have like the few podcasts that I've been listening to, especially Jenna Kutcher's podcast and The Skinny Confidential, they feel really positive to me and very motivating. And I feel like during this time, we have to be really mindful of the kind of content that we are consuming. I feel like listening to a positive and influential podcast can be really helpful and can be really motivating. So I highly suggest doing that. My next tip would be to read a book or listen to an audiobook. I know, it's like, I feel like being like, just go and read a book. Like that's what my mom used to say to me like when I was a kid. And for me, I really like to read books that are actually fiction. I feel like I like to use my imagination a little bit, and it really does feel like a brain vacation for me. So pick up a book and read it. My next tip is going to be to work out. I know it's hard right now, and I know it is. And I feel like I have been working every single day to make sure that I get an in-home workout in. in-home workout in. Yeah, because not only is it good for your body, obviously, and your health, but it, for me, has been so crucial for my mental health. So I'm really good at working out at home. I have some hand weights here that I've always had in my house because I actually really don't mind working out at home and I do it often. But there are a lot of really great resources and people who have amazing at-home workouts. I know a ton of people are live streaming on Instagram. Make sure you get your workout in for your mental health, your spiritual health, and your body health. You know? Okay. The next thing you can do is decide to learn a new skill. So there's a few places you can do that. YouTube, again, is an amazing source for that. You could also go on Masterclass, and there's also Skillshare. And I feel like all three of those platforms have a ton of videos and things that you can do, something you can learn. You're gonna come out of this when this all ends and be like, good job. The next thing you can do is a virtual happy hour. Yes, I did it the other day, and I've seen a couple of other people do this on Instagram, but I did a virtual happy hour with my girlfriends, and it was really nice because we really made sure to set the time aside. Like, we really put it on all of our calendars. We said we're gonna meet or have a virtual happy hour at 5:30 on Friday. And we all had a glass of wine and we caught up. And it was really, really nice just to connect and see different people aside from Kyle. I love him dearly, but you know, a little bit of diversity, a little bit of different people. Also talk about things aside from the news. So if you can do that too, I highly recommend that. The next tip, and I think the last tip, is to take some time to do self-care. I know that we all have a lot of time right now, so take the time to do your skincare routine, do a face mask. You know, I feel like it's just so important to nurture and take care of yourself right now and have some fun with beauty, whether it be hair, makeup, hair mask, skincare, whatever it may be. So highly recommend investing in some self-care, some you time, some skincare, some makeup, whatever. All right, everyone, this is all the tips that I have for you right now. If you wanna see a part 2 of this video, please let me know. I know this time is not easy for anyone. There's no right way to feel. All we know and all we can do is make sure to stay home, practice social distancing. Hope that you guys are all doing okay. I care about you, I love you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.